Hello, seniors, and welcome to today's session. Today, we're going to be going over the Common Application basics. So we're going to talk about the Common App, talk about how to fill it out, and how to avoid many of the common mistakes that seniors make when completing this document. We want you to have the best chance at admission into your dream college, and that's going to start with a great application. So let's get into it. First off, before you sit down to fill out your Common App, you will want to make sure that you gather your information together. You'll need high school information, our CEEB code, your graduation date, and if you don't know what all of these are, you want to make sure that you know who to contact if you need some extra help. So take a look at the list of counselors, which counselor is yours, and be prepared to come and talk to us if you need any help at all as you go through this system. I'm assuming you may have already done this at this point, but to get started all the way from the beginning, you're going to start by going on to apply.commanapp.org. Once you've built yourself a profile, you can start by building yourself a college list. You do that at the fourth tab at the top under College Search, where you will look up each of the colleges that you intend to apply to using the Common App and add them to your list. Each time that you log on to your Common App, you're going to be directed towards your dashboard. Your dashboard will show you that list of colleges that you've already created, and it's really a great place to help you stay on track on each of your applications. It'll monitor your deadlines, shows you what your progress is in each of the applications, if it's in progress, if it's completed. And if you click on each of the individual colleges for more information or show more details, it will show you the details of the additional questions that the individual college may have asked. So are there extra writing requirements? Are there extra questions that you need to fill out? Perhaps some more essays that you need to do. So that's all you can see from your dashboard. A great place to go each time when you log on just to see what your progress is on each of them. The Common App was developed because schools, colleges, and universities realized that many of them were asking the exact same questions over and over and over again. And many of the students were applying to the exact same colleges. So students had to write and rewrite the exact same information multiple times. Now the Common App has grown to the point where over 1,000 universities use this application. So it makes it much more convenient and easy for you as you fill out one application, that the core part of the application can be sent to all of the different colleges and universities that use this application. The section on the middle, that center tab called Common App, is the information that goes to every single university that you are going to apply to using this application. Now, their individual colleges may have additional questions on that they want to know in addition to your typical information, and I'll show you in a little bit where you find or answer those questions. But for the common part of the Common Application, you'll be filling out a section on your profile, which has got your personal information, such as your address, your contacts, languages you speak, that sort of thing. You'll be filling out information on your family, who's in your household. They also will want to know your parents' education level and occupation. So make sure you're talking to your parents throughout this process so that you can get all of the information you need to complete your application. The education section, again, we'll go back to that second slide that we had. You want to have all of your information about the school ready to go. And any previous schools or colleges that you might have attended, you will also be entering that information under that section. You also will be asked about your current year courses. And I'll get into these in a little more detail in just a little bit. There's a section on testing. where you'll report any ACT, SAT, or AP exams that you may want to be reporting. There is a section for your activities and a section for your writing. Some colleges and universities also require you to enter each of the courses in grades, in addition to us sending a transcript. So let's start with that education section. The profile and the family, those are really sections that are pertain to you. Those are not questions that I can necessarily tell you the answers to. But once we get to education, there is a lot of information that is going to be similar for each of you. First off, you'll need that address for our school and the date of entry. So for those of you who joined us at the beginning of your 9th grade year, your date of entry is going to be the month, so August of the year that you entered here. Did you or will you graduate from the school? Yes, you will. And the graduation date will be June of next year. The graduating size, again, that is on that second slide. And class ranking. We do not report class ranking. So we do not have an exact, a decile, or a quartile ranking for you. You'll choose the option for none. We are on a 4.0 GPA scale, which can be a little confusing for those of you who have taken courses such as AP courses or honors courses that are weighted at a 5.0 scale. Some students have a GPA that is over a 4.0. So you will report your cumulative GPA that on your transcript, it says academic GPA from your course history. So that could potentially be over a 4.0, but again, our scale is 4.0 and your cumulative GPA is going to come from the academic GPA on your course history. You will report this as a weighted grade because of those classes that are rated at a 5.0. Colleges do want to see that you are keeping up the rigor in senior year. So they're going to ask you to report all of your most recent or current year courses. So you'll enter each of those into the sections, making sure that you are giving yourself the proper credit for each course. That means that when you're taking a full year course, such as your XPOS reading and writing, that it is considered a full year 2-semester course. Courses such as civics and econ, however, civics is a single semester course and econ is its own single semester course. As I said, some colleges and universities do require that you enter all of the grades that you've earned throughout high school. So in those cases, you'll want to make sure that you enter each of the grades. And for courses such as your English class, where you get 2 grades, one you'll put under semester 1, one you will put under semester 2, and make sure that you have the appropriate 5 credits assigned for each course. If you're looking at a course like an AP course such as statistics, remember that's broken down into statistics, AP stats, and then statistics seminar, where statistics and seminar are each only 1 semester, but the AP stats portion, AP 1-2, is a full year course. If you have questions on this, please feel free to stop by, talk to your counselor, and we'll take a look at it and make sure that you get that information entered correctly on your common application. In the activities list, you can report up to 10 of your favorite activities that really help colleges understand who you are outside of school. So what is it that you do in addition to the great classes that you've taken and the great grades that you've got? You can let them know what is near and dear to your heart. So with activities, you want to start with the activity that is most important to you. Perhaps that's one you've been involved in forever, or maybe just something that really is your passion that is helping you towards your career goal. So start with that most important one to you and work your way down through the top activities that you've been involved in throughout your high school years. You don't have to list absolutely everything, but again, it does give you up to 10 spots to list your activities. The writing portion is a very important section of the Common Application. So the essay is what demonstrates your ability to write clearly and concisely on a topic, and it helps you to distinguish yourself from the other candidates and helps you use your own voice. So they want your essay written in your own voice. What makes you different? What sets you apart from just your courses and your grades? So each year, the Common App puts out 6 or 7 writing prompts for you to choose from. You'll choose the one that you feel that you can best answer the question of what makes you different. And remembering that the 650 words is your limit. You can't go above that. So if you're able to tell the story in a shorter amount, that's great. However, they won't accept an essay that is less than 250 words. So those are the portions that are common in the Common App. Those sections will go to every single college that you apply to using this application. But as I said, individual universities may have their own sections that they want. They may have additional information on top of what you've already filled out that they want to hear about from you. To find this, you're going to go into the section called My Colleges. As you click on one of the universities that you have selected, it's going to give you additional information. So it's going to tell you all of the information about the college, and it's going to ask you a few questions. First off, what term are you planning to apply for? If you're applying for the fall, then this is going to tell you back here on your My Dashboard, when is your deadline? If you're applying early action, early decision, or regular or rolling admissions, that's going to affect the date on your dashboard. They can also, there's a section called questions if the college has separate questions they would like you to answer. Sometimes these are very particular based around the college and their views. It could include questions such as your intent to apply for financial aid, your religious preferences, gender identity. It could just be innumerable other questions. This is the section also where you're going to put in recommenders for each college. Every college allows different numbers of recommenders and who can be your recommenders. And so you are going to on here assign which recommenders you want to write for that particular college. Many colleges also have additional writing supplements that you'll have to fill out. So it could be additional short questions where it's just a few word answers, or it could be whole other essays that you need to write. So make sure that you are giving yourself plenty of time before your deadlines to check into each college, check to see if they have additional writing supplements or things that are going to take up your time. You do not want to be rushing your application as you go through it. The recommenders section starts out with asking you to fill out a FERPA agreement. The FERPA is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. And basically, this requires, you need to give consent for schools to release your information. We can't just send your grades or your transcripts or recommendations to a college. We need you to actually authorize us to do that. So you do need to allow us to release the FERPA. And once you do that, you cannot go back and change it. But it does, the FERPA does work for all colleges. So once you allow us to send documents to one college, it opens it up for all of the colleges that you are applying to that we can then send your information to. FERPA sounds a little scary, and a lot of students have questions on, should I waive my rights? Before you sign the FERPA waiver, you want to take a moment to think about that. Is that something that you want to do? So by waiving your right, it lets your colleges know that you don't intend to read your recommendations. The reason that's important is colleges want to know that whoever wrote that letter for you did so without any pressure. that they wrote that letter on your behalf based on honest opinions of your character, and that is coming directly from your recommender to them. Some recommenders also won't write a letter unless they know that that's going to be confidential and that their responses will be able to be honest and true and go directly to the colleges. With counselors, we basically can't provide any comments on your character. We could only supply factual information such as your transcript if you requested that. So to sign the FERPA form, you'll read through the instructions and what exactly it means. You'll click on the I have read and understood. You'll select whether you waive your right or do not waive your right to review your recommendations. And then you will sign and date electronically by typing your name into the form. Now, this is a part that seems to be the most confusing for students, so I'm going to go through this. Adding recommenders to the Common App. Once you've signed your FERPA rights, you're going to add the teachers or other recommenders that will be providing a recommendation for that particular college. Because we use the score system to send all of our transcripts and all of our recommendations and all of those school documents, we want to make sure that they are coming through SCORE and that you're not asking for them through Common App. If you ask for them through Common App, it will end up potentially giving you an error message and showing that your recommender did not complete their form. So what we are asking you to do is to make sure that as you invite a teacher, you're putting in their subject, their title, their name, but leave that section of email address blank. That is the part that we really need you to know, is to leave that email address blank, because then you're next going to go into your SCORE account, and that's where we will get the recommendations uploaded for you. There is one exception. If you are getting a letter of recommendation from an outside source, often these are called other recommenders. So non-Westview staff recommenders that is the one time that you're going to put in the email address. So who could those other recommenders potentially be? Well, it depends on the university that you are applying for. Sometimes universities want to hear from an employer or a coach. If it's a religious-based institution, they might ask for a recommendation from a youth group leader or a pastor or a priest. So for those recommenders, you are going to add their email address. It will ask you how you know the other person, and then you'll put in all of their information. There are rare occasions where students have asked somebody other than their counselor to complete the counselor recommendation. Normally this would be if a student felt, say, really close to the principal and wanted the principal to write that broad letter of recommendation. That is possible. In those cases, you'd want to notify your counselor to make sure that they knew that, and also the alternate recommender, so that your counselor and the alternate recommender can work together to make sure that the letter gets uploaded correctly. So those are the details that you need to know. Once you have all of those parts completed, and before you click that final submit button to send your application out to your colleges, my biggest piece of advice is to make sure that you have someone else review your application. Have them look at every single question that you answered. Have your essays reviewed for grammar content and for typos. You want to make sure that throughout the entire application, you have no spelling errors or careless mistakes. Make sure everything is complete and that it really represents the very, very best of you to give you the best chance at getting in. I'm briefly going to go through the SCORE software. You will need to be using SCORE this year to request all of your documents from Westview, and we want to make sure that you understand how this ties together with the Common App. So each of you has a SCORE account already built. Hopefully you've already been on there and have started using the My Colleges to make a list of colleges that you are following, that you are applying to, and then eventually that you have applied to. Parents who are watching, you also may be able to add suggested colleges for your students to consider. The My College section is a great way for you to keep track of those colleges that you're applying to, those ones that you've considered, and just have them all in a visual in front of you. Once you have marked a college as applying, you'll be prompted to give some additional information. So SCORE will ask, are you applying early decision, early action, regular decision, or rolling? They'll also ask, how are you applying? And because this presentation is about Common App, you'll want to make sure that you list, yes, I'm applying to this particular college using the Common Application, and then enter your Common Application ID. This will make sure that your Common App and the documents that we send in through SCORE get tied together at your universities to give you a full application packet. Once you move a college, typically you'll start out with all of your colleges and universities in the following section. Once you move them over to applied or applying, that allows us as a school to start to send the documents on your behalf. And there are a variety of different documents that we are going to send in. So it is not just your transcript, that is one of them, but also letters of recommendation from your teachers, letter of recommendation from your counselor. Counselors need to fill out a variety of different counselor forms. We send a school profile to each of your universities. So once you move those colleges into the applied or applying section, that gives us the opportunity to start sending those documents on your behalf. You'll want to make sure that you give us a couple of days. Typically throughout the season, we are uploading and sending out documents a couple of times a week to make sure that we are hitting your deadlines and getting your information to your schools on time. Eventually, after you've applied to your colleges and you start to hear back, we do ask that you keep SCORE updated with your decisions. Have you been deferred? Have you been accepted? And ultimately, it's going to come down to the final class that you are enrolling in, and that allows us to send your final transcript to that college in June. So to update the application outcome, just head to your My Colleges tab. You're going to click on Update Your Outcome. And by the end of May, again, we want to know what that final college is that you've actually selected and that you will be going to, because we do need to send a final transcript to the college that you are actually going to be attending in the fall. As far as recommending or requesting a transcript, you don't have to actually request the transcript. In SCORE, we can see that it is needed by the college based on the colleges that you accept. So as soon as you moved it to applying or applied, we are notified and we will send that out on your behalf. Now, teacher recommendations do have to come through SCORE. So we've already gone through the process for the Common App where you want to find the colleges, do the recommendation in FERPA, complete the FERPA, and then enter the teacher's information. Now on SCORE, again, you will have to complete the FERPA information and add your colleges into your list. When you are on the section of My Colleges, just above the college list of your colleges, there is a button that's called Application Documents. You'll click on that and then click on Request a Recommendation button. And then you will start to fill out the teacher's name. You will notice that all of our teachers here at Westview are already preloaded as options in SCORE. So you'll fill out their name. We'll talk about in just a second whether you have them for a specific college or if it's for general. And then type them a little message. Say, hopefully, well, you should have, before you even start this process, actually have talked to your teacher and said, hey, will you write me a letter of recommendation? And hopefully they've already graciously accepted that. So you'll want to write them a little message of, hey, thanks for agreeing to write me a letter of recommendation. If you need any more information, please let me know, or something along that lines. As you will notice as you're going through your Common App, different colleges will accept different numbers of letters of recommendation. Some may only accept one letter, while some may accept 3 letters of recommendation from the school people and perhaps an other recommender and also a counselor recommender. So to make sure that the right recommendations go to the right colleges, we recommend that you organize your colleges that you're applying to and the numbers of letters of recommendation. The reason being is that if a school only accepts 1 letter of recommendation and you don't specify which teacher that needs to be, then the very first letter of recommendation that you get will be the one that is sent to that school. So this is just an example. And again, these numbers are not necessarily accurate. So in this example, if Michigan and Harvard only accepted 1 letter of recommendation, but MIT accepted up to 3, this particular student knew that Mr. Sosnowski, and they wanted his letter of recommendation to go to every single college. So they left his as not specific or general. They didn't click that specific colleges button right here under the teacher's name requesting for a specific college. However, for schools that used 2 or 3 letters of recommendation, for those teachers, they did list the specific colleges that they wanted the letters of recommendation to go to. That ensured that the students' letters were sorted out to the proper colleges and that everybody wrote for exactly what they needed. Most Common App schools do also want a letter of recommendation from your counselor. So we have a process for this. If you go to our counselor Canvas page, each of us has a letter of recommendation request form that we ask you to fill out. Once that is filled out, we have you schedule a meeting with us so that we can sit down and talk to you a little bit more about what is included on the letter, get a little more information from you so that we can write the very best letters of recommendation that we possibly can for you. Not every school does require a counselor letter. So if they don't, and you don't want the backup from us with a letter of recommendation from your counselor, let us know that. The counselor's letter of recommendation is a bit different from a teacher's one, so it cannot replace a teacher recommendation. And again, same with us as the teachers on your Common App form itself. Don't enter our email. Enter your counselor's name, but not the email address. Hopefully that has answered your questions about using the Common application. If you have any further questions, please feel free to drop by and see us in the Wolverine Center or attend one of our college application open labs. Dates vary a little, but oftentimes they are on those Wednesday morning late starts. It's a great time for you to come in to have your application open and to ask us specific questions that you may have as you're going through this process. So thank you so much for your time today. I wish you the best of luck in your college applications. And please, again, come and see us if there is anything that you need. Have a great senior year, Wolverines.